Now, Max, do you think all this is happening right now result in like the 4 year cycle being over, and that
I don't
we,
think there's any such thing as a 4 year cycle anymore.
as far
I,
okay, so you think there's no multi-year
there's
bear
no
markets currently?
there's no cycle. It's whenever it comes, it comes. And what happens when you think there's a 4 year cycle is you train your mind to be locked into this expectation, and that's when you get screwed.
Yeah,
You
right.
gotta get you gotta let this thing evolve and stretch your mind beyond this. Well, in order for the 4 year cycle to work, it's got to do this and it's got to do this and it's got to line up with that, and then this has to happen. Nobody knows that. I mean, that's just not the way it works. And by the way, as soon as a market, and I don't care what market it is, but as soon as a market has been decided that it can be read, it will be the very last time you're able to read it because
Wait,
it will
can you
change.
elaborate on that? What does that mean?
What that means is we had a saying when I was a kid, uh, when all the audience has learned the lesson, the teacher will teach a new lesson.
Right.
And now
Oh
everybody's
man,
pretty
you're in
convinced.
fire right now, Max.
Think about it.
Right? God
Yeah,
damn.
I'm about to get this tattooed on my back.
Yeah.
But think of the logic. See, markets are not designed as this pre-thought out process. That's not why you get paid. You get paid because you're taking risk of the unknown.
Right.
If everybody look, the logic of deciding that there's a 4 year cycle to crypto, well, you're kind of defeating yourself already, because if a market was readable enough to know that there was a 4 year cycle, to know how the steps unfolded, to know all of that in advance, then there is no purpose for the market and there is no rate of return coming.
Right.
The only reason we get rates of return is because right now it's teaching us a new lesson, because everybody goes, oh, fuck, I guess the 4 year cycle's over. Well,
Right.
no, it's not over. You're just learning what risk is.
The more unexpected it is, the more you get paid.
Bingo. Exactly.
Love that.
Exactly.
Yeah, you get paid for buying when the uncertainty's fucking high. That's the premium
Right.
you get paid.
Well, look at it. Look at my own perspective. Look at my own story. The fact that the asset I bought for $700 has risen to what it's risen is because when I bought it for $700, it was a completely moronic thing to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? I mean, who in their right friggin' mind would have bought something called Ethereum out of thin air for $6? I mean, you might as well just gone and burned it in the street. That's what 99.9% of the audience thought. Now, the reason it's X is because now only 97.4% of the audience thinks you're a moron.
Right.
And then when 95.1% think you're a moron, it's going to be $5,000. And then when 90% think you're a complete idiot, it's going to be $10,000.
Right.
Love that.
So
By the time it's normalized, you're done getting paid.
you're done getting paid, and it's going to be $155,000.
Right.
By the way, I'm just pulling a number
No,
out of
yeah.
my ass. But I'm trying to show the logic of how belief creates the final price.
That goes with the meme
That's what
coin.
creates the stability. That's what creates the stability in the price.
That's what you're right. You're dead right. What it does is the evolution of the belief creates the upside swing, and then the full belief creates the utility effect and the stabilization.
Right.
God damn. I
Hell
love
yeah,
it.
Max.